First, I would like to say good evening to everyone. For those of you who don't know, my name is Coach Barry, and I'm the varsity basketball coach here at Woods Charter High School. Before we get started, I do want to go through a series of thank yous to the people who have supported us and supported me over the years. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Cotton Bryan, the principal here at Woods Charter, for being with me ever since 2008. I'd like to thank Ms. Cindy Sperry for being there, being an ear that I can kind of talk with. I certainly want to thank Dina Floyd, our athletic director, for just supporting me. I know sometimes things could be challenging, but we sit down and we work through those things. And then obviously my main person, Sherry Penland, she's the assistant athletic director. I'd like to thank you as well. That being said, I also like to thank the parents. I know, some of the demands that we place on our guys is challenging to everybody, and I'd like to thank you for bringing the guys in at 6 in the morning, sometimes twice a week. But bottom line is we have to get the job done. We have to prepare our guys. Also like to thank my assistant coach, Andre Neighbors. He couldn't make it today, but believe me, just as much as I'm into this, he's also into this, and he feels as deeply and as passionate about coaching the boys and raising young men as anyone. Obviously, I absolutely love my players, and I love, all my managers who's involved. Many of them have been with me for, many, many years. And one of the things that we do every single year is, we want to prepare our guys. We want to get them ready for battle. And no matter what happens in the game, win, lose, or draw, we're going to go out there and we're going to give it everything we got. And at the end of the day, whether, no matter what the outcome is, the other team know that they was in a fight. And I can promise you that everybody we play, they will know that part about it. They know we will prepare, and over time, we'll certainly get where we need to go. That being said, before I go into what I want to talk about, which is going to be some of the current awards that we already gave our guys, because we always have our own personal banquet soon after the season is over. So the first thing we're going to do once I bring the guys up is we'll recap the awards that we've already given. Number two, we'll go through our all-conference honors, and we'll make sure that everyone kind of knows what that's all about. And then number three, we'll go through the new awards that we will present today. So that being said, let's go ahead and bring the team up. I'm going to announce your name, and as I announce your name, I'd like for you to walk up and go ahead and stand right here in front of the table. First and foremost, let's go ahead and bring up Casey Barnes if he's here. Then we have David Berrien. Let's go Jacob Gallagher, Nick Galin, Caleb Hyman, Kevin Johnson, Carson Lane, Cameron McNeil, Jacob Mitchell, Fleet Morgan, Nathan Una, Nick Porter, and to my fabulous, fabulous, fabulous managers. Let's bring up Sean Nadasky, and let's bring up his little brother, James Nadasky. Let's give him a round of applause, guys. Before I get into the actual three things I'm going to go in and discuss, I want to tell you this real quick story. Back in 2008, when I first came to Woods Charter, the team was still a work in progress. In fact, the team didn't really have uniforms. The teams was using duct tape as mechanism to create the numbers. And we practiced and played in the middle school gym. And, we didn't have a whole lot of success. And I came in that first year, and we went and played, and we didn't really do as well as we all hoped we would have. Second year, we did a little bit better. Third year, we did a little bit better. And by the time we got to that fourth year, we started making some serious inroads. And to this day, the team that started in that very first year, I hold them in high reverence, because to me, the mark of a person is what they're going to do when things are bad, right? Are they going to stick to it? And if you stick to it from the beginning and you work this thing all the way up to the second, third, fourth year, then all of a sudden you reach heights that maybe you haven't received before, then you have a deeper appreciation for what you've accomplished. In addition to that, you tend to use those same lessons that you picked up from that experience in life, which is ultimately the real reason why we all in this thing, is to teach character and life lessons through the sport of basketball so that we can be successful in life. So that team represented that back in 2008. Well, I'll tell you that story because about 3 years ago, we entered a new conference. And with this conference, a lot of bigger schools kind of came down to this new conference that we kind of got placed in. And as a result, there's been some growing pains. So the next year coming up represents the 4th year, similar to what it was back in 2012. This will be the first full 4-year group that we've had in this particular conference. So I'm really looking forward to next year. I'm looking forward to the possibilities of us exceeding beyond, our wildest dreams. I just wanted to kind of throw that out there just to kind of give you the perspective of where my head is. That being said, as I mentioned before, about 2-3 months ago, right after the season, we had our own banquet. And during that banquet, we gave out a series of awards from most outstanding manager, most improved players, Ironman Award, Perseverance Award, and then we have the most outstanding players. What I'm going to do is just quickly run through who won each one. They'll stand forward and come back. And when I finish with that, we'll go through the all-conference, and then we'll go through and mention the new awards, which happens to be the Coaches Award as well as the Leadership Award. Okay? The most outstanding manager award went out to Sean Nadasky. Let's give it up for Sean, guys. The most improved player award went out to Gene Galin. Give it up for him, guys. The Ironman award, this guy never gets tired. Let's give it up for Kevin Johnson. We had the Perseverance Award, the person that exemplified just that ability, that tenacity to stick to it no matter what actually happens. Let's give it up for David Berrien. And we had our most outstanding players. It actually went out to 2 people. They both equally was, just as important. One represents something, the other represents the other. Let's give it up for Cameron McNeil and also Fleet Morgan. As far as our conference, we had 2 all-conference recipients, and for this particular award, as we call your name, we want you guys to kind of walk over next to Ms. Floyd and go ahead and collect your award, and then we'll take a picture after that, and we'll go through, the last thing that we need to cover. All-conference awards goes to Cameron McNeil as well as Fleet Morgan. Let's give it up for them, guys. We also had, okay, I got you. Appreciate it. Over here, buddy. Dan. You got it? All right.
Stay there.
Then we had the honorable mention. The honorable mention award went out to Kevin Johnson. Let's give it up for Kevin, guys. Take an answer, Kevin. All right, I'm almost done here, guys. I'm almost done here. We have 2 awards. 2 awards. First award is going to be the Coaches Award, and the second award is going to be the Leadership Award. From my view, the Coaches Award embodies that person who's a coach on the court, off the court. Right? In other words, this person is quote unquote a model athlete, a model teammate. This person, extremely hard worker, a person who works on his craft, right? Because you have the talent part, and the talent part is the part that's given to you when you're born. It's God-given. But then you have that skill, right? You have that skill. That skill you have to develop over time. You have to work that. And if you don't work the skill part, then you're never really going to be able to realize that talent. Right, so this person is a person who works at it all the time, try to build their skill to the point where they're one of the elite players. This person, despite being on a national AAU team, which practices all the time. He constantly seeks out myself as well as my assistant coach, Andre Neighbors, to work him out. We'll have a practice with one of my other teams at night from 6:30 to 8. He'll get here at 8 o'clock, 8:15, just so I can work him out for 30, 45 minutes. And we wonder why he's so good, because he works at it all the time, right? Each year he's gotten significantly better. The future for this young man is extremely bright. Without any further ado, let's give it up for Cameron McNeil. He called me up last week and said, Coach, I may not be able to make the banquet because that national AAU team that I own, we play in other states every week. He said, this week we're going to be in Virginia. Last week he was in Atlanta. 2 weeks ago he was in Texas. The other week before that he was in Vegas. So every week he's out there putting that work in because he understands if you want to be great, if you want to be good at something, you got to put that work in. You got to put that time in. You got to put that effort in. You can't let go. Right? That's what it takes. And that's why he's our coach's, he's our recipient for the Coach's Award. And last award we're going to give up is called the Leadership Award. I tell you, man, this kid is the heart and soul of the basketball team. Every time this person stepped onto the court, he gave it everything he had. He worked very hard to be that positive role model and to hold others accountable. Whatever the coach wanted, whatever the coach needed, you know, he would be there to try to make sure that those things happen. He looked out for others. Prior to the season, I remember specifically there was a track meet outside, and he saw me at the track meet, and he said, Coach, can I talk to you for a second? I said, sure, you can talk to me. What's going on? He said, Coach, I'm a little concerned about this one particular player. He may or may not be able to make the team, and he works hard, and I just want to look out for him because, you know, he really deserves it. And whether the kid made it or not, it told me something about this guy, that he believes in something beyond himself, which is what I believe in. The person that's selfless, that's the guy that I like. He was thinking about the other person. And I said, you know what? Let me think about it, but I really appreciate you bringing it up. Gave him a big old fat hug and a kiss on the cheek, right? He always put the team first, accepted any role of him, and encouraged others to do the same. It is my great pleasure to present the Leadership Award to one of our captains and seniors. Let's give it up for David Berry. Good job, buddy. Again, I'm looking forward to the future, guys. The future is definitely bright. This is our first 4-year group that we'll have next year. We're putting some work in. We're going to enter that NC State team camp in a couple of weeks. We have practices twice a week, hour and a half, boot camp style. We're going to go out there and we're going to try to get it done. Again, thank you guys very much for your attention. May God bless you all.